Hey dudes, it's Anakin, and I'm gonna be running a Bloodraider 6 out of 10. So, you activate the gate and you get the pop-up. This is a waiting area for the black market traders that come to trade goods here. So you'll take the gate, and I'm gonna sit here and wait until my Rattlesnake aligns. So when you're inside the room, you'll see that there's a ton of destroyers. They're at like 30, and the battleships are more at like 70. You want to kill the destroyers, then go to the battleships. And the thing about Bloodraider battleships is that, unlike Sancha battleships, they can't really hit you out to 50 or so. Their optimal range is around 20, 30. So you're gonna go ahead and put some sentries out, kill the destroyers first. You'll practically alpha them, to be honest. And once you're done with that, you'll go coast to the gate while you finish off the rest of your stuff. Now, do notice that I'm putting my cruises on the battleships. Obviously, cruises don't help at all with the smaller stuff in on application, so it helps just to put them on the battleships, because why not? Now, if any of you guys were wondering, here is my fit. It's quite blingy, and it can do all of the escalations, except the 10 out of 10. You can debling most of the stuff. For example, you can debling the ballistic control systems and the resistances, but the shield boost amp, you really want to be cap stable, and the gist really helps with the cap stability. And of course you don't really need a gecko, but I got it in there just to help with DPS in some of the rooms. So I'm putting Praetors out now, just to deal with some of the smaller stuff faster, while I can burn the gate and maybe save some time that way. Yeah, from here it's just killing the destroyers and then going on to the battleships. This room's really nothing special. So, now that I'm done with that, I'm approaching the gate, and you take the gate to the next room. Now we're in room 2. In room 2, you will notice that the battleships spawn a lot closer. I like the primary Crimson Elder, because battleships do start pulling in towards you, and you'll start off with the battleships that are close, then you move on to the frigs that are close, and then you'll just obliterate everything else in your way. Now the neuting range on these is about like 20 to 25, and you'll see here that I do actually get neuted by the Crimson Elder, so I primary him, because I'm pretty dependent on cap in this fit. Now, if you want to be super careful, you can always heat a little, but that's not really a requirement, as one battleship's neuting power isn't enough to neut you out dry. Okay, so right here, I planned on burning into the acceleration gate, and I thought that would be really hard to do if I was webbed, so I locked up the stasis towers, and I put my cruise missiles on them. Now, what I did right here was coast out to approximately 80 kilometers. Then I turned my ship and I MJD'd toward the gate. The thing about these acceleration gates is they have a 20 kilometer radius, so if you're anywhere in 80 kilometers away from them, and you hit your MJD, you'll be at 0 on them. Here I was 70 kilometers off, and I landed approximately 10 kilometers off, and the rest I just burned in alone. This is really useful for me because I didn't have a prop, and I could just coast away from the rats while I did the rest of the site. You don't really have to kill the sentries, but I find it a lot more convenient to kill them. The blood cruise missile batteries does do a lot of DPS to my battleship. The blood stasis towers also slow me down a lot when I'm trying to move from room to room, so I like to get rid of those. So you want to be careful in this room. As you enter, you get a nice little pop-up that says that the internet connection has failed and the servers are shutting down. This room can get a little spicy. Now this room's got a billion battleships. 10 to 12 to be exact. But they all spawn pretty far off you, 60 to 80 kilometers. So they're not too much of a worry when you're thinking about nuding. You'll see at the top there is a sentry called Crimson Sentinel. It is extremely tanky, don't even bother locking it up. It does about 300 DPS volleys. There's no primaries in this room. Just kill whatever gets close, because they will try to come in, and if they do get in too close, they will end up nuding you. It's time to start hitting the Crimson Sentinel. It's extremely tanky, and you'll see why I saved it for last. I'm pulling in my Praetors and putting out my Geckos just to utilize that extra DPS. I'll start burning in to my mobile depot so I can refit to a Microwarpdrive. So this dude webs you out to like 50 kilometers. I'm about to take the web, so it can be a little annoying if you're trying to burn in without a Microwarpdrive. It doesn't have a lot of hit points. And you'll notice that I practically alpha its shields, which is great. One last note is that it does drop Dark Blood modules, so don't forget to loot the wreck. Spawn, and that is what you get your OPEs from. It is also what drops all the loot. Now, just as a side note, the Crimson Sentinel does have a chance of dropping Dark Blood loot, so don't forget to check its wreck. Now this is 8 times faster than I actually did it, and you can see it's still taking a while in super sped up mode. This thing's got like the repping power of a marauder. Alright, so those keys, they're useless, so you don't need to go in the other room. If you'll notice, my cargo already had one from the last escalation I did. So here's the command center. It's the final room, and when you hit activate gate, you'll get a pop-in that says that the connection has failed. You'll take the gate, and you'll notice that there are a lot of battleships. None of them have special markings, and that's normal. You want to keep an eye out, and scroll down, and you'll have to find the Crimson Lord. It's identifiable by its 5 million ISK bounty. Oh, it's not called Dark Blood anything, which is kind of weird, but nonetheless, lock it up, shoot the Crimson Lord, and only the Crimson Lord, because that's what drops everything. It's also very, very tanky. It took me about 5 minutes to kill. It's like the other tower from the last room, but worse. This is 5 times sped up, and you can see it still took a decent amount of time to kill. The Crimson Lord reps shield very hard and armor when it gets really low on armor. Now the thing about this room is that it does switch aggro to your drones very often and very hard. My Curator ones were almost completely dead. So when you destroy the Crimson Lord, you'll get a pop-up that says that their home has been obliterated and there's no life, and the Crimson Lord has also been obliterated. Now there's no need to finish out the rest of the room. Bookmark that wreck, pull your drones, warp out, wait 2 minutes. Now, why I say wait 2 minutes is because the site despawns soon after the Crimson Lord dies. Saving this in a personal folder, and yep, hit warp. I'm at the station, it's been 2 minutes, and I'm gonna warp back now. So I got really unlucky here and I didn't get anything special, but sometimes in 6 out of 10 you can get really lucky and you can get a drop of the Corpum A-type multispectral membrane, which is 600 mil. You can also drop Ashen blueprints and some thermal energized membranes. With that said, have fun and leave some of the 6 out of 10s for the rest of us.